Hello and welcome to Shards of Fate. Today I'm going to do a few tests in the arena to show off the new PvP aspect of the game, or PvE even. So to start off with, I'll just quickly go over the deck, why I've picked it, what cards I'm running and what's it all about. So I'm going to go for a very cheap red deck today for the rubies. This deck has been heavily modified due to the fact that I've been playing within the arena quite a lot now. So as you can see here, I have some PvE cards. The PvE cards are different from the PvP ones in the sense they can only be used within the arena. You can tell the difference between a PvE and a PvP card due to the outline of the border at the top. If they have this fancy little gold metallic thing here, it means they're a PvE card, and they can only be used within the arena. So, I'm using 8 PvE cards within my deck here, and the rest are normal, very cheap, common PvP cards. Burn here is a alternative art card. It's still a common cheap card you can get from the auction house. I've just saved up some of my gold from my arena runs to buy a different picture for it because it looks good. So, the idea behind this general deck is very basic. I'm going for some very cheap orcs with the odd expensive too, and I'm just spamming the arena, trying to get as much damage in as quick as possible. So, first off, I have the Brutal Commander. When this deals damage to an opposing champion, search your deck for an orc with cost equal to or less than the damage dealt and put it into your hand. And this also has Rage 1, so every time this attacks, it will gain an extra attack point. This is rather helpful because it means shortly after a few attacks, I can start getting lots of orcs into the fields rather cheaply. Now, next, I have Burn, very cheap, normal quick action, deals 2 damage to target champion or troop. This just helps me with clearing or getting rid of the last few troops or HP the champion has to finish. Next, Zolox the High Cleric. Now, this is a very special, unique card. Unique basically means I can only have one on the field at any time. So if I have one in my hand and one on the field, and I play the one from my hand, the one on the field will then get sent to the graveyard, because it is rather powerful. Now, this troop is a legendary troop, and really not that rare from the arena. I managed to get him rather quickly, but that may be due to luck. He also has 2 shard sockets that you can fit in to change his abilities a bit. Let's see what I got put in here. So I've given him a basic speed, and when this enters play, it deals damage equal to its attack to the target opposing champion. Now I've picked this so when I play him, it gets to attack straight away, and the fact it's a nice, easy, quick bit of damage here. Now, the special thing with this this card, that I haven't used as much as I should have yet, but it's very helpful to have there just in case, is that if he dealt damage to the opposing champion this turn, you can use a basic one-shot where you get to ready him and another troop you control, and go in for another main phase and another combat phase. So this lets you deal that extra bit of damage if required to finish off the fight. So next up, we have our Arena Brawler. This is a nice cheap 2 cost. Nothing special with this card, it's just got some nice damage, but dies rather quickly, but you can flood the battlefield with them quickly. Next one is Crimson Clarity. This gives you a red shard, and you gain 3. Now, it costs 2 to play, so you gain an extra 1, but this card is very helpful in a quick combat, because it means on turn 2, where I can play my second Ruby Shard, if I have this, I can play this as well to get a cost 3, and plop down a Brutal Commander with. So thanks to this, he can attack straight away, and by turn 2 I've already got, lots of troops on the field. I then have Crushing Blow. Target attacking troops get +2/+2 and crush this turn. This is very helpful just to, attack with whatever you want and plop that out there when the AI defends and get rid of some cheap easy cards. The Furious Taskmaster, for this card I'm not too sure yet. I'm thinking about changing him with another orc because I haven't found his speed all that helpful. But in a tricky situation, you can use his speed to get another troop out and do that extra bit of damage quickly. Savage Raider, once again, this is another cheap orc. It must attack each turn, but for a 1 cost, 2/1 attack and defense, it's nice and cheap to get out there and do some damage. Next is the Fierce Warlord. This one's very helpful because it means whenever troops with cost 1, they get an extra +1/+1. So my Savage Raider, Ridge Rider, and all my other 1-cost troops get an extra +1/1 to their cards, do that extra bit of damage. And then finally we have the Ridge Rider that I'm using. And while I'm controlling another troop, this has 1/1. So with this as well, mixed with the Fierce Warlord, it gets an extra 2/2, among other things. So, for the champion I'm using Sir Giles Rohan. He is a very helpful champion in this situation, where target troop you control, all troops in your all zones that share a trait with this get +1 attack. So, because I'm using only orcs, whenever I use his champion ability, all my orcs from all zones, so in my hand, in the graveyard, in my deck, and on the field already, get an extra 1 attack. So combining with everything else I have so far, this gives me an extra lot of bonuses. Now, because I've been playing the arena a lot, I'm not going to lie, I've received quite a lot of equipment. So when you're entering the arena, obviously you won't have all the equipment and all the cards that I have currently. It's somewhere where you can make your deck go in the future. So for my helmet, I'm using the Infiltrator's Hood, so this modifies the Ridge Rider. Your Ridge Riders have instead, while you control another orc, this has +1/1 and can't be blocked, except by artifact troops or troops of the same shard. So this is fantastic against going with people that aren't using red ruby or artifacts, for example. It gets some easy damage in that just can't be avoided. I'm then also using the Zealot Skull, that gives my Brutal Commanders speed. This is fantastic, where if I'm going for the second play shard buff, that means my Brutal Commander can attack straight away and I get an extra card on the field without any problems at all. Very helpful and some very quick damage there. So next one, I have Armour of the High Cleric. This is for Zolox the High Cleric, and is once again another helpful card. Each of your cards named Zorok High Cleric have, when Zorok enters your hand, create a random orc with cost 1 and put it into play. So thanks to this, I can whenever he enters my hand, I just get to create a random troop. It's fantastic for getting troops out quicker and easier. Yeah. So next one, we have the Braces of Brutality. Your Brutal Commanders have instead, when this deals damage to an opposing champion, search your deck for an orc with cost equal to or less than the damage dealt and put it into play. Now this item is key for this deck, because it means on my second attack, when I deal damage, I get another troop straight onto the battlefield. It doesn't go into my hand. It doesn't cost anything. It's fantastic. After you've played a few games of the arena, I would highly recommend going to the auction house and picking this up as quick as you can. It makes the arena a lot easier and you can get troops on a lot quicker. So, for my final item, I'm also using the axe. Each of your cards' names the High Cleric have Crush. While this might not mean a lot, it does make his abilities a lot more stronger, because it means if he's blocked, he will still do a little bit of damage to the champion. That means I can still activate his one-shot ability. So, that's the basics of the deck I'm using. And now we'll go test it in the arena. So, now with the deck you saw in the last video, I will go into the Frostring Arena. Here we go, I've got my Orc Lurkers deck here. As you can see, I've tried out quite a lot of PvE decks, but we'll go for this one for now. So, Mentor of the Grave is our first champion. This will be an interesting introduction. Let's see what we get. Alright, so my opponent's playing first. See what hand I get. Not fantastic. Let's try again. Well, much better. Not great, but better. So we'll skip their turn because, well, there's nothing that really happens on the first turn for the AI. My Air Shard. And we'll move on. So, the Mentor of the Grave. Passive ability, when a troop enters your hand from a graveyard, it gets +1/+1. So, his general idea for this AI is to call cards that get killed, they get a nice bonus. So, as we see just there, we got the High Cleric into our hand, and it creates a random Savage Raider. So, that's fantastic, and just what we needed. So we can get down the Arena Brawler there, and we have some extra troops. And for the Mentor of the Graves, active ability, void target troop in your graveyard, then gain health equals to its voided defense cost. It's a nice ability there to gain some power back. Well, perfect. So, I'll play a Ruby Shard, and we'll get the Brutal Commander out here. So, the Brutal Commander is one of the key parts of this deck in the sense. that when he deals damage, as he's going to now, to the champion, I can select a card. So I'll go here for a Ridge Rider, and it goes straight onto the field there. So I have a new card there for blocking if I require, and extra damage on the next turn. Crackling Rock, well, not blocking anymore, but that's not bad. I expected that to go on something else. Crushing Blow, fantastic. So we have 2, so I'll go for a Savage thing. Not really needed to play that there because I only have 1 card that benefits from it, but I can knock out that extra damage. Use the Crushing Blow here to make sure he has Crush to get through, give him the bonus, and win the match. So, as you can see with that deck, it's rather quick and easy to get through some champions. It gets harder as you go along, obviously due to the arena, but I've made some good progress, so I'll see you for the next champion. So here we go, next guy. I have to admit, I do love the Toyn Cost here. However, I sometimes feel it goes on a bit too long, considering I've seen it God knows how many times. I wish I could skip it, but hey. So let's see what cards I get this time. That's an okay hand, we'll keep that. It's a bit slow off the bat, but so it appears we're getting a challenge this time as well. So, within the arena of HEX, if you've played it you'll know already, but there are challenges that happen that give you bonuses if you complete them as you go along for boss fights. And for this guy, he got a command tower straight away. That will buff all of his troops with +1 attack. Not fantastic, it means he can get out some nice damage in, but it shouldn't cause much of an issue with this champion we've got going here. Basically we'll skip everything, don't care about 3 damage for this guy. So, for this guy he gets, when a troop enters play there's a 25% chance it gets speed and +1, and for his active, does 1 damage to the opposing troop. So he gets out some damage there. The idea of this champion is basically the same as our deck, to get some nice early damage going and affect other things. That's perfect. So, as you can see here as well, the passive abilities can also affect our cards. So, the 25% procced here, and my card got speed and +1. So that's a nice bit of damage there. Nice 6 with a burn, but well, I don't really mind it going on a 1-cost card, so that's fine. Still get 4 damage in there. Keeping me ahead of the curve for this fight. So, Arena Brawler as well. Oh, and that got speed. Oh no, sorry, it didn't. It got the +1 obviously from the command tower. We'll go again. Get a Brutal Commander out here. We'll go for the attack. Oh no, I won't attack with him. I don't want to risk his death just yet. So the main reason I didn't attack with him in that stage is while I did have Crushing Blow that would have got me the victory, I didn't have the resources to use it. So I'll wait for my next turn to do that. So yeah, he's going pretty much all in on me. There's nothing much to worry about. Perfect, just what I needed. Another one. So, plop him out. Oh, he gets speed as well. So now we get to use our champion ability. As I talked about, gives all orcs everywhere an extra +1 attack. So I've got now a nice 5, and these will become 4/4 when I attack due to their rage. So plop them in there. He has to block. Well, didn't block the one I was expecting. We'll give that crushing anyway, just to win us the game. A nice quick victory there again as well. So, time for the next champion. So, after that fight as well, we got a nice buff here. That will give us a charge buff, so you start the game with 2 charges. Now, this is a bit deceptive in the sense of it makes it sound like in the next fight you'll get 2 charges, but all buffs you gain from challenges only affect your next boss fight. I expect this will be made a lot more clear, but if you read the text as you entered the last game, it does say that your challenges do affect your boss fights and not normal fights like this guy here. So, here we go, let's fight this one. Well, I don't get to play first any of these games, it seems. Not a bad hand, not perfect. Well, it's next to perfect, but we're missing one key card. But hey, we'll go for it. Has what I need. So, this guy has, when you gain health, a random troop in your deck gets +1/1. Generally not too bad, but for one charge, he can gain 1 health. So pretty much every turn he's going to be spamming that out to get his health going. Shouldn't cause too much of a problem, especially for this deck, because generally we kill him before he can get out some worrying troops that have benefited from this anyway. Next up, go for the Arena Brawler. And go for the attack, get some early damage in there. So the main benefit for the Ruby deck here is the fact that we can go in there and do some nice damage nice and early. So he's played the Pegasus here, Flight. When this enters play you gain 2 health. So once again, this will activate his passive ability, you can see here, so another troop has gained 1, and there we go, he's done it again. So he likes to spam his health here. Luckily with the amount of cards we have, we can deal damage a lot quicker and a lot harder. So go for another Arena Brawler here, and go for the attack. He blocks, so we'll go for the Crushing Blow there. So we get to kill a card, do some damage, and we don't even lose our card. Perfect. So we'll skip that turn. Skip his turn completely. Buffalo. Still nothing really to worry about there. So now we use our champion ability. Give all the cards an extra +1. And this is one of the things I love about the Crimson Clarity, because it can be used in a lot of situations. So if I plop it out now, it gives me a nice 5, and I can go away and get my High Cleric in straight away. Click on the champion due to his socketed ability, and do some 5 damage to him straight away. 7 left, go for the attack. He's got Crush as well, so, well, no matter what, he's dead. So once again, another quick and easy fight. We'll finish there. So next up we have the Spam Bot. Here we go. The Spam Bot generally uses artifacts and such, so it will be based on robots and everything. The Spam Bot can give you trouble depending on what cards he decides to play, because he can be a very tricky opponent. At the start of your game, 4 random robots in your deck gets one of the following at random: +1 attack or +1 defense. And he also gets target random troop gets +1 or +1. This is very cheap, he gets to knock it out very commonly, so an early troop by him can get some easy power-ups. As we see here, we got a Worker Bot, nothing to worry about, because it can only defend, but as you saw it got a +1 straight away. Now, I should have been paying some more attention to my hand here, because this isn't perfect. But I can show you about the turn 2 combo that was done before, well, that I talked about before anyway. So there we go. So he made that perfect. So, play a Ruby Shard, Crimson Clarity, Brutal Commander straight out there. Thanks to his equipment, he has speed now as well. Attack with him. Now they'll double block, so ultimately, on my side, this was a bad idea, and I should have seen that coming a while off, but I did just want to show you how on a turn 2 you can get him out straight away. In normal circumstances, I wouldn't have played him and waited a bit before I got him out because, well, the Spam Bot can spam, and I lost him really unnecessarily there. The Arena Brawler, going for the attack. See if he blocks for this. Yeah, perfect. So clearing out some of the extra cards there. Now, generally, a lot of the other players, and what I highly recommend for competitive play, is to play cards that you can't use this turn in your second main phase. This adds the ability to deceive your opponents per se, so they don't know what you have in your hand to use. While the AI doesn't work on that function, generally I just play everything I can in my first phase, so that way I can press F10 and skip the rest of my phase. It just makes it a bit faster, but it is a good habit to get into. Oh, so there we go, he played a Sapper's Charge there, activated its ability to cause 2 damage. So now we both have no troops. But I can get my High Cleric out now. Do 5 damage to him straight off the bat. Proceed to attack and get another 5 damage onto him. There we go. Now, in a normal circumstance, if I had another troop on the field, I could have used his one-shot ability to attack again and finish the game there. But, well, he has no troops on the field, so this is a win already anyway. Perfect. So we'll just go for him again and finish him off by using him. So, before I click accept, as you saw there, because I played him and he is a unique, he removed the other version of himself. So you need to be very careful when playing a unique card, but I played him just to win like that. So, that's this one. Time for the next challenge. So, next up we have the Eternal Guardian. This is the boss of Tier 1, and for the boss I'll be entering with the game with 2 charges, due to the challenge I completed as I went across. So, let's go. Now, this boss has some interesting gameplay, in the sense of he'll gain 1 shard every turn automatically. He doesn't have to play them. So he's based off a 5 shard deck, so he gets to play some very interesting troops. And this also, perfect hand to start off with as well. This will be great for us. I'll keep this hand. But he does get to show off the socketed abilities of the other champions. Of HEX, sorry. The cards he will play all have sockets, meaning all of the cards he plays are vastly different and gain abilities from the gems he has placed in them. But the bonus of the Eternal Guardian is he takes a while to warm up and get into it. So I can play my Crimson Clarity, get out a Brutal Commander, and thanks to the champion, the challenge we did, I can use my charge power on turn 2. So this is a brilliant start for us. We get in an early 6 damage. And now we get to pick a troop. I will go for the Arena Brawler to get him some extra damage as well next turn. To the end phase. So he doesn't have an active ability, he just has his passive ability. That at the start of your turn you gain 1/1 of your threshold, and then gain a random threshold of which you have the least. So he continuously each turn will gain an extra colour. Now when you're playing a rather slow deck, this can create issues, because he can start spamming out cards a lot easier, and he will have a lot of troops on the field and they're a lot hard to deal with. The bonus of the Ruby deck here is you get to deal some damage onto him very early, very quickly, and generally you'll kill him before he gets any troops out. So here, let's calculate the damage. We'll be doing 8, 11, so we won't be able to get to kill him even with a crushing blow. I'll get a troop out there and we'll just go for it. So next turn, unless he can randomly pull out something amazing, it's all over for him. It's unfortunate because I did wish to show you some more of the cards and abilities he can play, but I will always take a win. So, as you can see here, he's using a blood shard that's rather random, for a green deck, sorry, but because he's getting 1 of everything, he can use any shard he wants. So when this becomes blocked by a troop, that troop gets -1/1, and when this deals damage to an opposing champion, it gets 1/1. So this could be a very worrying card to deal with in the future if it was left to go out of control, for example. But that's all he can do this turn, so it's very easy for us to just finish this off here. We'll go straight in there. And that's an easy victory for us. So with that, we have now finished Tier 1 of the arena. So when you finish a complete tier, you will also get a boss win, loot crates, and a perfect tier if you don't lose, and if you're very lucky, sometimes you also get a bonus chest. And in the chests will contain either equipment or PvE cards that you can use to further enhance your deck. So, because I've been playing this quite a lot, I have been rather lucky and got quite a lot of PvE cards, quite a lot of equipment, and that makes clearing it even faster. So, I'm now on to Tier 2, and I will start the video for that shortly. Right. So now we're on Tier 2 of the arena. One of the things I forgot to mention from my last attempt anyway, the first tier that I have a perfect on here, all the first 4 champions will start with 15 health. This is to give you an advantage and for new players to have easier access to the content. Then the boss will have 20, and then as you move into Tier 2, you're moving back into normal HEX gameplay, so all the champions will have 20 HP. Apart from the bosses, where at this state they'll have 25 to make them more difficult. So, let's get right back to it. So here we have the Nellerin Scout. This is play first. This is normally a tricky champion. When a champion plays a resource, there is a 25% chance that that champion gains an extra on 1. For each troop, randomly determine if it is destroyed as following. Each troop has a 10% chance of not being destroyed. So, this pretty much means that when he uses his ability, my troops can be randomly killed depending on their defense values. And due to the deck I have, a lot of them have defense values of around 1. So they have a 10% chance of surviving. So if you don't get this guy down fast, he can start killing your troops relatively easily. And thanks to his ability, that means a ruby shard can technically count as 2 in the sense of the resource gains anyway. He can start pumping out powerful troops very quickly. So let's see how it goes. I will keep this hand. It's acceptable. Let's see what we go. Plop down a ruby shard. I'll go straight for a Ridge Rider. And as you see there, I got very lucky and got 2 instead of 1. So if I wasn't being so quick, I would have gone for an Arena Brawler there. It would have been the wiser choice. But what's done is done, so hey. We got lucky there and he only received 1. Oh, but he received a Cliviliac, so he gets an extra 1. See, as we got here, we also can see that the arena champions now have equipment themselves. In Tier 2, they will have 2 pieces of equipment on their cards. So this one reduces the cost of that card. So this is a very, very powerful item for green decks, because it means they can get an extra shard straight off the bat. It can be rather tricky to deal with. So let's see. Well, we didn't get lucky there, so we only got 1, but that does mean we can play an Arena Brawler and a Savage Raider. Get them both in there for some early damage. Go straight in for some 2, and skip the rest of my turn. So he only got 1 that turn as well. He seemed to be relatively lucky. Going by the fact he hasn't played anything yet, I'm going to assume that he only has rather powerful cards in his hand. So we need to try and get him down before he starts playing them. So we'll go for another Arena Brawler, because we didn't get a shard. And go for an attack with everything we have. Skip the rest of our turn like normal. So here we go, he played a Wild Rue Dancer. This is a fantastic green card, in the sense of whenever you play a resource, another target troop you control gets +2/2. Not so great for us, but I'm going to get rid of that instantly with my burn. The main reason for this is I don't want it on the field. So, it looks like we have a challenge here as well. It's not a terrible one, but could be tricky, so we'll go for an Arena Brawler. The main thing with this guy is the little symbol on him means he can't block. So we can still go all out with our damage. The Arena Brawler I have left, if he goes for attack, I'll block, and then throw my burn on it as well, get it out of the fight straight away. But by the looks of it, it's going to be another easy victory, since he's already on 1 life. So now he uses his ability. That could cause us some trouble, because this is where our cards could disappear. So all of my cards here have basically 10% chance of survival, apart from my Ridge Rider that has a 20% chance. So let's see what happens. So I lost most of my cards, but luckily I still have 2 left. And the Arena Brawler is perfect. So I can block. And before I deal my combat damage, I can throw my burn on it, due to it being a quick action, to reduce his HP down to 3. And it appears we've bugged out a bit there. So this card doesn't seem to have... Well, I'm assuming that both of these cards have died, because it's not getting ready. Yeah. So yeah, these cards are dead. They're in the graveyard, but they haven't been moved there correctly, so it's a slight bug. That's... well, nothing much to worry about at this stage. That means we can't do anything. We have nothing to defend with. But apparently I won. So I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but the game is still in beta, so we always expect some bugs. So let's see who we have next. So now we have the Zodiac Shaman. Let's give him a whirl. I can't remember his abilities offhand, so we'll go over them as soon as we get into the game, before we keep our hand or whatever. So, when a champion draws a troop, there is a 25% chance that that troop becomes quick. So for us, this is a fantastic bonus because it means our cheap troops could become quick, cheap troops. And for a diamond, sapphire, and green, wild, sorry, his cards get +1/1 and cost 1. So he's going to be able to pump them out pretty quickly if we don't end this quickly. Anyway, now the hand isn't fantastic, but I'm going to stick with it for now. If we get lucky and get another shard, we'll have a perfect setup for some nice, quick, easy damage. Not perfect, but good enough. Unfortunately, he didn't hit the 25% chance to get speed, but it's always there. So, one of the advantages of this deck is even if I do get shard screwed, like I am now a little bit, I can still play some cards. And at the end of the day, while I'm only dealing small amounts of damage to him right now, they will turn into stronger ones. For example, if I get another shard eventually, I could play my Fierce Warlord. That would then give them all a +2, 1/1. So there we go. So for now, I'm not going to play the Fierce Warlord because I would like to play him first. So I'll plop him down now, go for the 2 attack, and then I can play my Fierce Warlord next turn, so all 3 of them will get the +1/1. As you can see here, the +1/1 will only affect troops that are already in play. So he hasn't played any cards yet, so this gives me a fantastic bonus here. So I'll throw him down. All of the troops get a lovely, well, it's a great sound effect. All the troops get a 1/1. We'll go for a nice attack for 9 damage. So he's already down to 5 life left. It looks like this is going to be another quick run. See, the Canyon Scout is a fantastic card, but not against the deck I'm using. So while this is in play or in your hand, you can see the opposing underground troops. Now, one of the fantastic things of HEX is you can bury troops, so they'll be around in the left-hand side of the screen, and your opponent won't know what they are. This lets your opponent see them. So, for 3 damage, I'll let him attack. Oh, Oracle of a Song as well. Oh, he is throwing out quite a few cards now. But nothing that should cause us any worry. So now I'll go for my Furious Taskmaster. So this is what I talked about within the deck manager. While it's not a fantastic card, I can give it speed this turn and go for an all-in attack with everything. He can block twice. I'll still do 8 damage for the win. So another easy victory. Time for the next fight. Well, due to a bug with my last recording, we may have missed the Ballistic Expert, but hopefully I can get it fixed. So we'll see what happens. So right now we have the Emberspire Witch. Now this champion acts like the Emberspire Witch card, meaning that champions can't gain HP or health during combat. But for us this isn't a big deal because our deck doesn't focus on regaining HP at all. So yeah, champions can't gain health. And deals 1 damage to each champion. So this should be a fight, a hard fight, and we'll see what happens here. The starting hand isn't great, but it'll do for now. The main reason I kept this is due to the Brutal Commander. Even if we have to wait till turn 3, we'll still be able to get some damage out. One of the things with the Emberspire Witch is she doesn't really use many troops, and she'll focus on using spells and abilities to kill your cards as they attack or before they have the chance. Now if we get lucky we can throw out the Brutal Commander now, deal some damage, and get some troops onto the field relatively cheap and easily. So we'll go for the attack now. So there we go, he should burn, but on the card I don't particularly care about, so that's nothing to worry about. We'll go for Arena Brawler. The main reason I've gone for the Arena Brawler here is because it will tempt the Emberspire Witch to see that as more of a threat. So if it uses a power ability again, it will go for the Arena Brawler before it goes for my Brutal Commander. So we can now go for that. Throw out a Crimson Clarity. This time I'm going to use it correctly by powering up my cards first, then using my High Cleric, so I can deal 5 damage straight away to the champion there. Now I can go, so see, we have the burn coming out here against the Arena Brawler, but we still have a nice attack going on here that will deal 9 damage and get another troop onto the field. So I can go across and pick another Brutal Commander. So now I can end this game by using the High Cleric's one-shot ability, because I remembered this time. And it will give us another attack phase where I can attack with all of my new cards. And that'll win us the game. So, a very quick match there, luckily. Now we have the boss of the second tier. We've gone for Uzume. This is a Conky Bunny deck. Conky Bunny, sorry, that's one of the cards. A Shinhair deck. It can be very tricky to deal with, especially if it's not controlled early on. She likes to pump out cards relatively quickly and has the ability, the standard ability of while you control 5 or more Shinhair, your troops have +1. And then create a random non-unique Shinhair troop and put it into play. For some reason, whenever I play the Grand Conky Bunny, I always seem to get unlucky here, and she gets to play the healing one. That makes the games last a little longer. Hopefully we shouldn't have anything to worry about here. So, now once again, because I beat the previous challenge, I get to start this one with 1 resource in play. So, like the last fight, this is a fantastic bonus for us, because I can go straight in and throw an Arena Brawler in. There are a lot of different there are a lot of different challenge buffs that you can gain, and the extra resource at the beginning is one of my favourites, and makes the game a lot easier, because once again now we can just throw in a Brutal Commander and start on the early damage. I mean, straight off turn 2, 5 damage. It's just what we need, really. This should be another quick and easy fight. So we'll go out and get another Arena Brawler in there and see what they do next turn. So it's another Blood Shard, so once again we should have nothing to worry about. And let's see, 3 shards, blah blah blah. Oh, we'll go for the attack first, see what happens. So now I can go in, get another Brutal Commander out, and I'll just use my things, throwing out my 1 shard cards. So with this now, we're pretty much guaranteed the victory for the next round. But one of the things with HEX is I always like to make 100% sure I have won, because you never know how games may change randomly. I never want to go easy on the opponent, because I have done this a few times, and they've turned it around in their favour with a card I just would not expect them playing, for example. But with this attack I should have no problem finishing her off now. There we go. And that's another easy victory, and the end of Tier 2. So here, as you see, we got the boss win, perfect tier bonus, and the bonus chest. And now we enter Tier 3. So, now with Tier 3, the champions here will have 3 pieces of equipment. So I was incorrect the last time in one of my previous videos. It doesn't go 2, 4, 6, it's 2, 3, 4. I would imagine in the future they'll add more equipment to the bosses to make it harder and more challenging. So, let's go against the Avenging Angel. So this is one of the champions I hate, and generally gives me a rather hard time, but let's see what happens in this one. So their basic ability is, at the start of your game, 4 random troops in each champion's deck gets, when you draw this, play it for free. So that's fantastic for us and them. We may get lucky and get some troops that we can play for free instantly. That will give us the edge of what we need to do. And the other one is create an angel and put it into your hand. Not too worrying. Generally we're done with the game before that gets to the point where we should worry. But I have received quite a lot of unluckiness, let's say, with this champion, in the sense of they'll get a random awesome card they play for free on turn 1, and then they get to play an angel, and yeah, it can pile on really quickly if you're unlucky. So let's see how it goes for us now. Alright, so we'll start with our basic ones. I'll go for the Ridge Raider first. Now the reason I go for him first instead of the Savage Raider is when I play the Savage Raider, he is then generally unblockable thanks to the equipment I got for him. So I believe it's the wiser choice for a turn 2 attack, just in case they have anything on the field that I need to deal with. Now I can go in for the early attack for 2 damage. Now if I was paying more attention there and not explaining it as much, I would have gone for the Arena Brawler. That would have been the better choice. But mistakes happen, so oh well. So now I'll go for the Fierce Warlord, just so I can start piling on early damage to the Avenging Angel here. I don't want to give them the chance to start getting out worrying cards. That could cause us some issues. And now we're getting close to the threshold, so here we go. Nothing really to worry about here, so we should be fine. And I'll go for the Crimson Clarity, throw in an Arena Brawler, and go for an attack. Main reason I've done this is so I can throw out a Crushing Blow if I need to. So there, for example, I don't want to risk losing my Savage Raider right now, so I can deal some damage, it stays alive, and that should have guaranteed me the victory for next turn, unless I get unlucky. It can happen within HEX quite commonly. So this is one of the examples. Got Angel of Dawn. When you draw this, if it's the first card you drew this turn, play it for free. So, oh, and it got when you draw this, play it for free anyway. So that's lucky in the sense of its passive ability was wasted on this card because you could have played it for free anyway, but is an example of the trouble that you can happen if that appeared in turn 2. And we get an Angel as well. This shouldn't cause us too much of a problem though, because we should still be able to go in for the win here. So I'll go out for this, go for the Fear of Taskmaster and give it speed as well, just to guarantee I can push through. And there we go for another victory. So that's the Avenging Angel defeated. Let's see, now we have the Sniper. Play first, obviously. So he doesn't have a passive ability, but he has troops you control enter play this turn gets +1/1 and speed, so that can be rather worrying later on. We have an acceptable hand to begin our combat here, and start dealing some early damage straight off. No cards from him, meaning we get easy access to some nice damage. And perfect. Now we have the Fang of the Mountain gone. Well, this isn't perfect because at the start of our turn it deals 1 damage to us. It's a nice card to have from the High Cleric. So now we can plop down another Savage Raider and go for some damage. Now he's played Burn. Oh. Now if I was paying attention, or well, no, if I didn't skip the rest of my turn, I could have gone for a Crushing Blow there to make sure it survived. But it's not too much to worry about. So now that they've gone for the Ruby Pyromancer here, it has a nice Inspire ability that as another troop equal to or greater than the troop of this drop enters play, it gains a +1. So that's something I don't want to let live, because I just don't like it when troops start to stack Inspire powers and they get rather powerful at that stage. So it's something I want to try and avoid if I can. So I could have done some more damage if I paid attention and used my Crushing Blow, but it shouldn't have set us back too far. Let's see what happens. Oh, I've got the Arena Brawler now. It's just what we needed. So now we can use the Taskmaster's ability to give it speed and get an extra 3 damage this turn. Using Burn on the Taskmaster, not to worry. So we should still be in a rather stable position for next turn. Unless they get something to block us, we can use the Crushing Blow to give us a boost. So the Shield Trainer, another example of an Inspire card, gives it defense. Yep, so now I can go for the Fierce Warlord, give them an extra +1/1, go for the attack, and I'm going to use the Crushing Blow here to power through, give it crush, and win the game. Another nice, easy victory. Now we have the Warbot. This is considered one of the harder champions within the arena due to its very powerful charge ability that I'll go over in a second. So let's see what we got. So when an artifact enters play, its controller gains a charge, so it can power up its charge abilities very quickly. And when it has 10 charges, void all non-artifact troops. So he can make very quick use in killing all of our cards. But he has had to mulligan down to 5, so we can hope for the best. I'll keep this hand. Oh, perfect. So the Argus Herald of Doom, at the start of your turn, reveal it, and it gets -1. So hopefully, before that card gets to a worrying state, we should be fine. One of the things that the Warbot does have, though, is a lot of crackling vortexes. Because it doesn't need a colour to play its artifacts, it can use this to gain 2 charges. So it was able to power up its charge ability very quickly. So the main reason I have stuck with the hand I have is because within turn 4 I can get out the High Cleric and hopefully power, deals a good 12 damage, if not 14 if everything goes perfectly. One of the main things to remember with the Warbot is that it generally won't use its ability if you only have 1 or 2 cards on the field. So this is why I prefer to wait with this champion, just to get a powerful card out that I can, hit it in its face relatively hard. So I've gone for the Fierce Warlord here in the hopes of it will not use its champion ability by the time I can get out the Fierce Warlord, so the High Cleric, sorry, next turn. Generally it shouldn't. In most cases, well, for us anyway, it can't right now, so this gives us the very powerful advantage. One of the main things with the Warbot is that it has some cheap cards, sorry. So it can get a nice charge power from playing these cards. But this time it hasn't, thanks to the mulligan, so power up our cards, play the Crimson, High Cleric throws in there, 5 damage straight off the bat. Now we go in with the attack with everything. It blocks, but it's only got 2 life left now, so I can use my High Cleric's ability to give me an extra attack phase. That'll finish this fight very quickly, a lot quicker than I was expecting anyway. Now we're on to the Darkspire Enforcer. I can't remember exactly what she does, so I'll find out when we get into the game. Play first. So when a troop you control with Darkspire in its name dies, create a card with that card's name and put it into your deck. Choose one at random, deal 3 damage, blah blah. So nothing really to worry about, hopefully. Let's see how it goes. And looks like we've got a challenge as well. So this challenge we've got the if you say that card correctly, well done. I apparently can't at the moment. So at the start of each champion's turn, they draw an additional card. So for our deck, it gives us a rather large boost really. It means we can guarantee that we'll get what we need in the sense of shards or extra power, especially with the amount of shards we already have. So we should be able to pile on some nice early and easy damage. So I'm going to go for this. I normally wouldn't, but I'm going to pop the Crimson Clarity to throw out him. Him. And go for a Crushing Blow. Just to try and get this match over as quick as I can. So this is a fantastic card that he will refuse to block. That means he can block if he is forced to, but you can't or the opponent can't block with him. But while the opposing champion is less than 10 health, he will get invincibility. That's very nice and very powerful, but luckily nothing we have to worry about, because I'm hoping our life won't get to that state. So we'll go for the Brutal Commander. Go for an all-out attack here. And because he refuses to block, we get a nice, easy troop onto the field for us. So he's played another troop that can't block, and one that can, but nothing to worry about. So, I'll go for the Fierce Warlord to give the boost, and this should be another easy victory for us here. He blocks the troop with Crush, that can get Crush. So, we'll add Crush there. That gets through. Guaranteed defeat. And that's another one down. Time for the boss. Now we have His Majesty, King Gabriel. This can be a very powerful boss, in the sense that his charge ability will summon a wolf that will make him become invincible. But once again, like most of our other champions within the arena, the aim of this deck is to kill the champion before it gets to the stage that we need to worry. I think I'll keep this hand just for entertainment reasons. I like to see if I can get a High Cleric out nice and early. So, as you can see here, for defeating the previous challenge, I get 5 extra life. Now this is one of the ones that I prefer, well, believe to be worthless, but the main reason I've stuck with this hand is because I have that extra 5 life gap to keep me going. I do prefer the charge abilities or any other, really. So, if everything goes according to my plan, it may not, sometimes things don't, quite oftenly in fact. I can play a Ruby Shard, play a Crimson Clarity to get 4, play another one to get 5, and play my High Cleric. Straight off for 4 damage. Go for my attack to do 6 damage. Uses one shot to give me an extra phase in combat. And then go straight in there for an extra 6 damage. So straight away on round 3, we've knocked him down a considerable amount of HP there. Her Majesty, Queen's Grace. Fantastic card, but generally not very powerful if it's on its own. So now we can turn around, give our guys an extra +1, and go for the attack. So apparently the AI decided not to block there. That wasn't a wise choice in my opinion. So we should have the victory next turn. Let's see what happens. So yes, with nothing else left in its hand, especially with a crushing blow, it's just what we need to finish this off. So let's go for a nice easy champion win again here. We'll go for a crushing blow here, just to make 100% sure that we win. Straight in there. And a nice clear there. So that's tier 3 cleared, with quite luckily another perfect. So, boss win, perfect tier, gold pouch as we've gone over before. So now we're on the last tier of the arena. No defeats, and it's going very well for us so far. But now the champions will have 4 pieces of equipment, meaning their cards can become even more worrying. So we'll play first, because that's what I prefer. And when a troop deals damage to a champion, that troop gets +1/1, and target troop you can gain gets ++2 to this turn. So that's great for us, because we like to go in there for the early damage very quickly, and as soon as we can. Meaning we can start pumping up our troops with some very nice damage bonuses. Luckily for us, he has nothing to throw out on his first turn, so we can easily go straight in there for an attack with our Ridge Rider. So he'll do 1 damage, but because he's hit him, he now becomes a 2/2. That's one of the advantages of having some passive abilities that work in our favour. So now he's got the Gem Snatcher out, going quick for a 2/2 damage. but we can go in here, and I'm going to go straight in with the Brutal Commander now. Throw that in there, get some defense, and I'll go for the Arena Brawler as well. That I can use to block next turn if I want to, but right now I have no reason to. He has nothing worrying on the field. The Stink Troll could become worrying later on, but as of now, we still should be fine. So, go for our Champion Charge ability. So, burn. So, we'll go for and just waste these burns, let's say. We'll get the burns in there. And then we'll go for a quick, easy attack. Equal a nice 13 points of damage there. And that's won us the match. Just what we needed. Easy. Right, so back to the action. Next we have the Wild Root Dancer. I've also increased the quality of the video a bit as well, hopefully, so maybe that'll help a bit. Let's go. Alright, you chose to play first. So, let's see what this champion can do. At the start of the game, each champion chooses a troop within their deck and creates 4 cards with that card's name. So this is going to be fantastic for us. It means we can select a Brutal Commander or something and create an extra 4 of them, give us a nice bonus there. And power active ability, look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Put revealed plants into play. Oh, that one could be a bit nasty, but we'll see how it goes. Now, my hand on the other matter isn't fantastic. We will draw this again. That's much better. So we'll keep that hand. So this is where we get to select a card. I'll go with the Brutal Commander now. Could be more helpful. Okay. So straight off the bat, he plays a card to pick a troop, so we know he has a troop at least. And in we go. Nothing else we can do this turn, so we'll just skip the rest. Let's see if he gets to play a troop. Shard of Life, so that's not bad. It means he only has 1 resource still. Perfect. So let's get an Arena Brawler into the action there. Wait till next turn and do some attacking. No, depending on what he plays now. The Wild Boar. See, now this can be nasty. At the end of the turn, put this into your deck. If you do, it gets +4/4. The power's lost. Main thing with this one is, for a 2 cost, it's very powerful with 4 attack and 4 defense, and it has speed, so he can attack straight away. So I'm going to let him attack for now, because that goes back to his deck anyway. And I just hope he doesn't draw it again quickly. And let's go for another Arena Brawler, and go for an attack. Nothing that turn, so it looks like the AI is shard screwed. That's good for us, we can get some early damage on. Give them a boost, +1/1 each. And go for the attacks, that's 8 damage straight on the bat. So, hopefully he doesn't get a shard next turn, and we can destroy him straight away. That'll be a nice quick match. So that should still be nothing for us to worry about, especially with Crimson Clarity. We can attack here, and if we use Crushing Blow on both of them during the attack, the damage will get through, and he still does a nice 6/6. So that's that match over. So let's see how the next one goes. Now we've got the Construct Foreman. Could be an interesting fight. Can't remember his abilities offhand, so let's give it a look. Play first. So, he doesn't have any passive, but his active one is create a booby trap for each champion and put them into their decks. That shouldn't be too much to worry about. And our hand means we can do a stage 2 Brutal Commander. That'd be perfect for us. Combined with the Ridge Rider there, that will give us a nice 4 damage on turn 2 and another troop on the field. And he hasn't played anything, so he can't block us or stop us from getting in there. And another Brutal Commander means turn 3. With Crimson Clarity we can get another one out as well. Straight in there for 4 damage. And I'll pick an Arena Brawler to get out there. We'll skip the rest of our turn. Right, let's see what he plays. So he's put a Booby Trap into our card. Oh, and we get a challenge as well. So the challenge is you and your opponent now have an extra 6 Booby Traps in their deck. So that's a good challenge for this guy, really. That means Booby Traps are going to be all over the place. Unfortunately for them, thanks to our starting hand, we have so many troops on the field, and the damage is now going to start stacking up like no tomorrow. And with that, I will go for another Arena Brawler, just in case. And for this one, I'm going to get out my last Brutal Commander. So that was pretty much the perfect play for this deck here. Bringing out the Brutal Commanders in force, turn 3, and our field is perfect already. That's a nice card, but nothing for us to worry about at this stage in the game. So what I'll do now is plop the final Brutal Commander, just to overkill it slightly there, and we'll win this match as well. A lot quicker than expected. So that's another win for us. Let's see how the next one goes. So now we've got the Paladin of Nagant. This one could be more challenging. I can't remember his abilities offhand, but if I'm right, or if I remember correctly anywho, they are the rather worrying ones. So let's see how this goes. Play first, obviously. So, target troop you control gets plus XX, where X is the amount of health you have in excess of your opponent. So, our starting hand is perfect. Well, not perfect, but acceptable anyway, so we'll keep our hand. And the major thing with his ability here is his life gain. So we want to keep our health above his as much as possible. So one of the advantages of this deck is the fact that we can pump out some early damage as quick as we can. Because if he gets the ability to use this on one of his cards, it will gain a major boost over our cards. We'll go for the Arena Brawler for now. And we'll see how this handles. Generally he won't do anything with that guard officer up there, as it will be used to gain life. And once again this one can be used to gain life as well. It's generally his playstyle. So if I use... no, I'll save that. So I'll go for an Arena Brawler again. Ridge Rider. And go for the attack here. See, now that's not too bad. While the card does a lot of damage, that did have lethal, and we don't want that sticking around with the High Cleric here, because that could kill it, even with 1 damage. So now we have the Righteous Paladin in play. This one could cause a lot of issues. When you gain health, this gets plus 1/1, and this guy is designed to gain health quickly. But we can now get our High Cleric out straight off the bat. So, activate, use our champion ability, Crimson Clarity, and the High Cleric in play there. And go off, do some damage straight off the bat. And we'll go for the attack. So he's blocked us with those two, so it's going to die, but that doesn't bother me too much because it means we've got the 2 worrying cards out of the field. And this is what I'm talking about here. He always taps this to gain extra 1 life, and this will give this an extra 3. So I knew it was going to die no matter what, but we still get to kill it off the field because it has a 5 attack. So now thanks to that we have a large life bonus above the Paladin, and shouldn't encounter much difficulty from here on, if luck treats us right anyway. So I got a nice burn there. So I put the Taskmaster on the field, use speed to give himself speed, and we'll go for the attack. He'll block, and we'll go for the burn there as well, to make sure the Paladin dies. And now we should be able to win next turn, depending on what he plays anyway. Not perfect, but still not anything to worry about for us here. Now can't stop the attack. And 6 damage. Another victory. So now we're on to the final boss. This might actually be a perfect run. Well, I've said that now, if we're going to lose. Let's see. So for the final boss in the arena we have Zoltok. Now this guy can be very nasty. His abilities can spawn out a lot of orcs if we don't get in his face nice and early, per se. I'll go over his abilities as soon as they're up. Play first. So his passive is when an orc you control deals damage to an opposing champion, create a Savage Raider and put it into play. Luckily it needs 2 reds and 2 purples before this becomes active. So, excuse me, hopefully we can get on this nice and easy, nice and quick, and start getting down his life before this comes into play. And then his basic is create 3 Savage Raiders and put them into play. Now the main worry with this guy is the fact that he can start attacking us with multiple Savage Raiders, and every one that hits our champion without a block is going to start spawning more and more and more, and they're going to overwhelm us. So this hand is acceptable for us to start with, so I'm going to keep this. And we start with 2 charges as well, so our troops get a nice bonus earlier than they could have, or well, would have before. So if luck treats us right, we're going to hope that he won't have any troops to play rather early on, and we can get some nice, free, easy damage in there to start with. We'll get the Arena Brawler in there now. Should have used my Champion's ability then, but we haven't lost anything for not using it just yet. He gets a Ridge Raider in there. So now we can go straight on, throw our Champion's ability in. Give us a Ruby Shard, put another one in, and now we have 1 resource left for the Crushing Blow if he decides to block. And there we go. So that's brought him down to 20 already. It's a nice start for us, really. In a perfect world, next we'll get another Crimson Clarity, and we can plop out the High Cleric. But, well, that didn't happen. Another shard, we'll go for the Furious Taskmaster, and we'll give him speed. That way, no matter what he blocks, something may die, or will die, but we still get the extra damage in there, so now he's on 13 already. So now he's got his perfect setup, 2 red, 2 purple, so now if he hits me, he'll start creating the Savage Raiders. Luckily, or perfectly, we got the Ruby Shard, so we can throw out our High Cleric onto the field now. Deal 5 damage straight to him. And going for the attack. Now he's going to block the High Cleric here. That'll die, but we still win. So that gives us the perfect. So with that we get the boss win, perfect tier bonus, and a bonus chest. And that gives us a complete the arena results. 20 wins, 0 defeats. That wasn't my intention here, but it just shows how easy a nice, cheap orc deck can be. Getting in there first, see what we get. So from completing it perfectly, we got 7,400 gold, not bad at all. And as you can see here, quite a lot of equipment. Now, I believe I have most of this already, but we'll go over all of them one by one. So it's Spring Litters. You're feeding the young ones instead of create 2 bunny hoppers, put them into play. That's not bad at all. Nice little helm for the Royal Den Mother there. And construction gloves. I believe this one might be new actually. Aha, I think I already have them as well, but that's not a bad one for him. I might plop him into my orc deck at a later point. Crackling Rot. Now I don't have this one yet. This is a new piece of equipment for me. Gain an additional charge for each one. Oh, well. It's not great, but that can be combined with something, another card for a different type of deck. Another PvE card now. I think I have 5 of her now. I can start selling them. Selling Breastplate. Ah, this one's not bad at all. Your Malice Demons have, when this deals damage to an opposing champion, destroy 2 cards at random. Now that one's fantastic. The downside here is he's obviously a very expensive card to play, so I'll have to make a deck around him that I might do for the next set of videos. Now, this one's perfect. This one means my Jags the Blade Master instead has triple damage instead of double damage. Now this is just the item I was looking for my other Orc deck. That does basically the same thing, however I do have a few of the Blade Masters in there to get that extra damage on. So you know, the double damage will also affect the High Cleric that I was using within this video. So instead of doing 4 damage or 5 damage, he'll do double that instantly. Now with that he'll do triple that, and it'll make this fight a lot easier. And we've got some boots for my shin hats as well. So that was the rundown of the arena, with a fantastic perfect victory. I wasn't expecting that at all. So one of the things, well, two of the things that you didn't see, because I've done this quite a lot, when you win the arena, you get the Frost Ring Arena sleeve. This is the first time, it doesn't matter if you're defeated once or twice, as long as you get to kill all of the champions, you will receive this sleeve. That looks fantastic. I have to admit, this is one of my favourite sleeves in the deck. And next, if you get a perfect one, you would have received this sleeve. Luckily, I've already had a perfect in the past, so I didn't get it this time, but this is what I received. And then within the arena, you have an ultra rare boss called Uranaz, and if you get to beat him, you'll get his sleeve. Now this is a fantastic sleeve, it looks amazing, and if you kill him in the arena, you also get his pot of gold. That is 100k. So, you know, if you're you're a new player, hasn't put money into the game, you manage to get him and beat him, that's a big bonus for you. You go straight up in there and you start making some real money. The main thing with this champion, or this opponent, is he will only appear in the last 3 tiers, but he can appear randomly. He is counted as a boss, but he won't only appear in the boss sections. He can appear at a random point in time. So, once again, this is the deck I've used. I will export this from the game and put the link to my deck in the description for the videos, and you can try it out yourself if you wish. So, thank you for watching this run, and I'll make another set of videos later on with a different deck. I think my next deck will use... I'm not sure yet. I'm going to go for Wild Shards, maybe. We'll see. Alright, thank you, and goodbye.